Hello, this is Forge Master Ren with a voiceover because I forgot to turn my mic back on during this time when I was editing this video. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover while I look over the raw footage, and then I'm going to be putting this over and all that stuff. So it's going to be fun, and you know, I'm going to have to sit here and watch myself do the first hour of my stream or so without voice, you know, being the idiot that I am. So here I am loading in. back in Lothering. I'm mentioning that I just got back in here. I came from the Ostagar, and I just got here and I started doing some quests for some people, and now I'm about to do all the quests out here in Lothering Fields, talking about how there's bandits out there and how you can lure things. Checking the Lothering quest board right here and all the stuff that I got for the Blackstone Regulars, which was in the inn. Yeah, I still can't believe I didn't realize that my mic was on for the first hour of this. But yeah, so going around doing the quests for people. I believe I already did the quests where you got to give them poultices, traps, and poison traps, or poison for their traps. And now I'm going around checking out, making sure I got everything picked up before I go out there and start doing the quests. Yeah, it's funny how I keep going back into the church. I'm going in there right now because I have to give a letter of recruitment to this guy before I leave Lothering, otherwise I fail the quest. So I'm looking for a named gentleman right now. See that I got a book. You always want to click on any kind of books or scrolls or bookcases or anything like that. If they give you, they'll give you XP.
Yes? What can I do for you?
I'm ruining this guy's life by giving him the letter for the Blackstone Regulars.
Yes? What can I do? Listen to my sister. Sure, sign the paper, she said. You'll enjoy some coin now, but they'll be back. Sister. Sure, sign the paper, she said. You'll enjoy some coin now, but they'll be back. I guess I'll see you on the front lines.
So I'm going over here. I'm going, hey, I have Liliana. I have somebody that can actually pick a lock. So let's pick this lock. Yay, it's another gift for somebody. And then I was explaining that different gifts can go to different people, and different people like different kinds of stuff. Liliana might like the Andraste stuff. Morgan might like the more like primal stuff. Alistair likes funny stuff, and like everybody appreciates booze.
All right.
And now I'm going to go back out here and I'm going to start killing me some bandits. After making sure that I got everything in the town.
Why do you always go on about how stupid I am? I'm not stupid, am I? Why do you always go on about how stupid I am? I'm not stupid. Because it hurts my manly feelings, you know. Or one of them.
Then
because
I'll be
it hurts
sure
my
to write you an
manly
apology
feelings, you know.
once all of this is
Or
over.
one of them. I was
Then I'll
educated by
be
the
sure
Chantry.
to write
I
you an
studied
apology
history.
once
They
all
don't
of
make
this is
stupid
over.
Templars. I was educated
Then
by the
I
Chantry.
must have been
I studied
mistaken.
history. They don't make
I'm
stupid
very
Templars.
impressed. Then I
No,
must
you're
have been
not.
mistaken.
You're not even listening
I'm
to me.
very impressed. You are
No, you're
smarter
not.
than you look
You're not
after
even
all.
listening to me.
Your Chantry must have been very smarter than you look after all. Your Chantry
I
must
do
have
enjoy the
been
banter
very
between,
proud.
Your party members and stuff, and how Morgan thinks Alistair's an idiot, and Alistair thinks Morgan's a bitch, and you're the only one that, well, I'm the only one that Morgan really seems to get along with, in the party at least.
I shall.
Yeah, and when you click on people, their
I shall.
attitude towards you will determine how they react to you clicking on them. So I'm like, alright, let's go kill some bandits. This is where I explain that you need to have some kind of strategy. You can just kind of go in willy-nilly, and then you'll start doing Kind of like I am right now. Paused. I'm like, alright, what we're gonna do here. Alright, I'm gonna take a health poultice. I got him attacking. Need to put some health poultices on his bar. Alistair's gonna be my tank, so that's why he's gonna do the sword and board. Yeah, and anything he can do to heal himself up. Also, Liliana, I'm going to have her, I believe I try to have her like pen shot somebody here so that they stop fighting me for a second. Yeah, that's what he's doing. I believe Morgan's in the middle of already casting a Winter's Grasp, so I just let her go ahead and do it. So see right there. Poultice, Winter's Grasp is going off. Penshot's still going out. And I saw that those two were low on health, so I did a sweep. Taken care of. Alistair's still pretty low. Let's give him a health poultice. And then I'm going to have them... Now I'm going to have the ranged people start taking care of their ranged people. Yeah, I believe I'm going to have her cast lightning on the ranged guy so that, you know, we the melee can take care of the single last guy, and then they can start taking out the... Yeah, I noticed that she's still doing the penning shot. And that it didn't go off. Like, he doesn't need healing. There's only one of them left. Let's just go get him taken care of. He's not even going to get hit, so screw it. Aha! I'm going to make sure those guys drop loot. Didn't. Sometimes the corpses, they don't... they're not lootable right away for some reason. So you always got to make sure that you check, and then you look away, and then you check again. I'm like, hey, alright, they got some elf fruits, and I see those guys off in the distance. So I'm like, alright, let's come up with a strategy for them. This is time I'll actually show some strategy. Oh, I got an open wound. It's like penalty to nature resistance. He's got penalty to cunning, so I don't care. Believe, yeah, I'm going to put on the frosted weapons right now. My entire party's weapons will start dealing cold damage as well as their normal stuff. It's a maintained spell, so it takes them for mana to maintain. But hey, all extra damage just for her being in the party. It's a good thing to have, especially early on. Then I start talking about mages and what she does, and she's a shapeshifter, and it's kind of useless with the way that I play anyway. Basically, she turns herself into another melee combatant, but, you know, mages are really powerful support characters, so I like to keep them being supports and not make her turn into a melee character like a spider or a bear or a wolf or whatever, because I have melee combatants. I don't need another one. Yeah, she might have some abilities and stuff. Yeah, people might do a party about her, like around her shapeshifting ability, but I like that mages are very, very powerful support characters. I'm explaining that, you know, she can take on spider shape and she can do all this stuff with it, and that it becomes a better form of spider shape once she gets master shapeshifter. The bear shape is another tanking shape. She does some powerful moves, and she's really hard to take down. And then there's like the locust swarm shape, which is helpful, but you got to get really far down the tree, and there's just so many more things a mage can do that's more helpful in my opinion. So yeah, I'm talking about how she could be a bear, she can take some stuff, and she turns into a bar skin or whatever when she got master shapeshifter, flying swarm. Talking about all this stuff. She basically, like, you know, debuffs people and distracts them and while damaging. It's just not worth putting all the points into shapeshifter to get rid of a mage. Then I'm talking about the different. I believe I start talking about the different trees, like mages. It's like, okay, hey, it's just an arcane bolt. It's just a better version of like their normal hit. This is like the things that mages can do, and I'm explaining why I like keeping a mage and not making them a shapeshifter. I like Morgan as a character. I just never really thought her shapeshifting abilities were good, and then I'm just kind of going over a brief overview of what the different things do. Yeah, and then I'm explaining. It's like, okay, hey, arcane mastery, it does this, does that. Primal is like elemental damage. You know, dealing fire, dealing cold, dealing nature, and dealing lightning damage. Creation's healing magics, which I'm going to be speccing her into, because being able to heal on the fly without needing to, you know, drink a health poultice is good. Spirit is all about like buffing and debuffing and crowd control, as well as dealing some damage. There's a lot of helpful stuff like stuns and paralysis or crushing prison, shields and things like that you can get in Spirit, all of which will do Spirit damage and stuff, which is a powerful form of damage. I'm talking about Walking Bomb here, which is basically just a debuff you put on somebody and they start taking damage, and if they die they blow up, which is pretty cool, but I don't think I'm going to use it for a while. You know, and then there's Walking Bomb, and then there's like improved Walking Bomb, some other stuff. Yeah, and I'm reading off. So Virulent Walking Bomb is like it goes off on multiple people, animate dead, you know, you bring a corpse back to life. Entropy is debuffs, curses, things of that nature. Controlling the battlefield with debuffs instead of like barriers and things like that. That's why it's different from Spirit. This is makes people weaker, makes people paralyzed, drain health from enemies and corpses, inflict curses that like lower resistances to damage and things like that. Or one of my favorite is the misdirection curse, which it makes it so that you don't hit unless you crit, and a crit becomes a normal hit. So basically, like, you hardly ever hit. Vulnerability Hex lowers resistances. Affliction does the same thing, but I think on a wider scale. Affliction Hex, yeah, it spreads to more people. Vulnerability Hex is one person. Misdirection Hex is the one where all hits become misses and all crits become hits. It's a very powerful curse to have that you probably want to get to at some point, especially if it can affect bosses. Yeah, and here I'm such an idiot. Well, just explaining all this stuff and I don't even have my mic on. Death Hex, bad luck every... Okay, so the target of every normal hit becomes a crit against the target. Death magic, you siphon the residual life from nearby corpses. It's a maintain spell. Curse of Mortality is the one that I hate dealing with the most. It's such a cheap spell. It's overpowered. I'm glad they got rid of it in future Dragon Ages, because one, it blocks all healing to the target. Two, the target takes continual spirit damage over time. And three, if they do that to somebody and then they concentrate on them, they burn down within seconds, and there's just nothing you can do about it. It's a cheap strategy that the computer uses all the time, especially with Darkspawn mages. And that's why, and further, in all the future videos you're going to watch me do, I immediately go after the Darkspawn emissaries, because they're the ones that cast this thing, and it is such a cheap tactic that... I mean, eventually I'm going to use it myself, but it takes a while to get up to that point, because I want my mage to do other things like heal and regenerate, and deal lots of elemental damages and stuff like that. But eventually I will get Curse of Mortality, and I will use it everywhere that I can, at all times. This is me still talking about how much I hate dealing with Curse of Mortality, how much of a pain in the ass it is to deal with, and there's just nothing you can do about it most of the time. You know, heal, regeneration, rejuvenation, all that stuff. Morgan dealing a lot of cold damage. I don't remember what I'm talking about here, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. I know it's kind of dumb. But yeah, so that I was basically just kind of going on a rant about mages and how Shapeshifter, in my opinion, is like the worst kind of mage you can have, but that's what Morgan starts off as, so there's really nothing you can do about it. So now I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to actually come up with a little bit of a strategy for it. Run in, get some aggro going. Realize that my party is nowhere near me, that they decided to hang out back there for some reason, and now they're finally coming up, and I believe I die at this point. Due to lack of party backup. Yeah, I think I die. I want to say I die during one of these pulls. Yeah, see, I'm about to die. I don't. This is where I explain that multiple different levels of health poultice have different cooldowns, but it didn't matter because I died. I believe Alistair dies at the soon too. Because just he gets stunned and can't heal himself.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I shield bashed here when I should have healed.
Let's make this quick. Yes. Let's make this quick.
And now it's just Morgan and Liliana.
Oh yes, of course.
So now it's our ranged against their range.
I'll try to be merciful. I never liked this part.
For some reason, Morgan just decided to hang out next to me instead of going over there and actually trying to do something.
I shall.
But it worked out. They're terrible aims just like I am, so eventually, like, Liliana wins because, well, you know, they just missed me a lot more than I missed them. Here I'm trying to get out of combat with them to see if I can just kind of run up and get my guys up, but it's not going to work, so I'm just going to run in and finish the job. I'm like, hey, alright, shattering shot. Choom. Oh no, you're hitting me with a critical shot. Oh no. This part's kind of... I'm probably going to end up skipping most of this fight just because it's Liliana shooting, and this is kind of boring to watch, to be honest.
I never liked this part. Let's make this quick.
So yeah, it's
let's make this quick.
Then I'm like, oh hey, Morgan's not doing anything.
Finish.
Let's have Morgan do something.
I'll try to be merciful.
She has to get way closer.
That's finished.
I'll try to be merciful.
Just making sure Liliana's actually attacking the target.
Make us
Hitting them with a penning shot. Hitting him with lightning. Pew. Flincher's grasp. And he's down. Alright, get up, you dumbasses. And now that both of you have an additional injury, I actually have to heal you.
I see.
Right.
Or I actually, like, you know, okay, I need to hit heal because,
Right.
well, 2 injury, I can get rid of, I can deal with 1 injury, but dealing with 2 injuries, it's a little much. And of course, they always heal the latest injury with the lesser injury kit, so the one that I was living with and not really caring about is the one that got rid of, and now the one that just happened is the second one that it's finally getting rid of it. I didn't want to get too close to the bridge over there on the left because that's like triggering the end event. And then I look over here and I'm like, hey, there's a bandit over here that I forgot to loot, or I didn't loot before.
I'll get on it.
Alright. I still need to get more bandits. There's nothing really to loot over here. And I don't want to get too close to that bridge. Keep talking about that. That's why I don't go after the elf root right now, I believe. I'm like, I don't want to trigger the event. I can kind of see the darkspawn from here. I don't really want to trigger that event right now. So, hey, oh, what's with the landmark tree? And there's the last group of bandits over there. Distinct tree, but otherwise unremarkable at this time. So come on, guys, let's go deal with this. And I turn off the weapons and I turn them back on, because if you die or if you go down, the buff wears off of you, even though she's still maintaining it for the party. So you have to reapply it, so it goes back on everybody. I start inching my way closer, making sure my party is with me this time. And I'm like, alright. Everybody needs to actually get into some positions here. I'm gonna actually tell certain people to attack certain people. Gonna have the range to go after the Mabari, I believe. Or have Morgan dealing with the Mabari. I think that's another melee guy. I'm like, alright. So now you have the bandit leader, and I'm gonna have Alistair taunt, get everything off of me. And I'm like, oh hey, she's in here, so I might as well have her do Mind Blast. Everything gets stunned, which is a great way to keep everything. Like, alright, deal with the Mabari. Shattering shot the Mabari. Let's do a little bit of strategy. Let's get rid of these other guys first. Especially the guy that can overpower my guy. I believe Alistair does go down. Yeah, because he did the same thing he did last time. He was doing a shield dash instead of the animation, instead of taking the health poultice. So now I'm like, alright, I really got to strategize. I really got to make sure that my resources are being used effectively here. So that's why I keep pausing. I'm like, alright, I'm down a guy. I'm down my tank. I'm going to need to make sure this guy stays healed. I'm not going to go after the bandit leader first, or shouldn't anyway. I should go after the other guys because they're going to be... I believe I keep making Morgan switch to those characters just to help burn them down. I'm like, hey, lightning bolt that guy. Liliana, go ahead and, switch to that guy as well. I keep forgetting that Liliana is set to attack whatever the player-controlled character is attacking. And I don't know why it keeps making me put Threaten on. It's a thing that they pre-program into a warrior for some reason. They just decide, like, hey, we're gonna make him threaten. Which, honestly, probably would have been a good thing to keep on for this situation, at least. That way I would have been able to maintain threat a little better. But in the end, it worked out. Start going after the other guys. Because that guy is more like the boss. He's going to take a lot more to take down. So I want to make sure that his backup is taking out the guys that are easy to take down. Then I'm like, he's only got one ranged guy to help him. I can take this guy down, no problem. And now I'm going after the bandit guy. Slice, slice, slice. Alright, now let's get that back.
Now
Get
better than later.
The heavy chainmail set, and the thickened cap, and the great sword.
Now is better than later.
All good stuff to have. Come over here and pick up my loot. What does Alistair have? A crushed arm, penalty to damage. Okay, I can't really live with that, so I'm gonna make him take an entry kit. Which I am really glad that they... And I'm like, alright, he's my tank, he needs the heavy armor. So we're gonna go ahead and put the heavy armor on him, and then you know what, probably give him that cap. Mental resistance, it's a good thing to have. Now he looks just like the bandit leader, but with a sword and board instead, and none of the other shields are anywhere near as good as the one he has on right now. The set bonus, I'm explaining how you have to look at the set bonuses and heavy chainmail. If you have heavy chainmail, arms, legs, and chest, your stuff costs less to activate, even though you're wearing heavy armor, but he still has the fatigue. This is where I start explaining fatigue, and how you can actually have light enough armor to reduce the cost of your abilities. Stuff like what Liliana's wearing, I'm also going to be tweaking with her. Yeah, I'm tweaking her stuff. I'm like, alright, stop having the rapid fire on. That sucks. Here, let's set you up automatically to, like, do something. I believe I'm going to go enemy, and if they're like an elite or something, or yeah, rank elite or higher, then she'll use like shattering shot on them. Yeah. So now if we run into a guy that's yellow or above, she will automatically target him with shattering shot instead of this whole thing where she just kind of is like, oh, well, I'm going to shoot whatever you're attacking. She'll actually look at somebody and go, hey, you're an elite, let me hit you with shattering shot. I believe I take off the whole ranged being attacked thing here because shield cover is okay if you're being attacked by a lot of ranged, but being the tank, he needs to concentrate on melee more. That way, like, he'll actually be able to take hits. I forget exactly what I'm doing here. I think I'm going to have him, if, like, the enemy's a lead or higher, he'll do, like, a shield pummel. Yeah. And then ally. I want to say if I said, like, ally being attacked by melee, that he'll automatically taunt. Yeah. Ally being attacked by melee, he'll taunt. So now he's actually set up to be a little bit of a tank. I don't know why they set it up so that, like, if the enemy has a certain amount of health, he uses shield bash. I mean, it's not like an invalid tactic, but whatever. And if he's being attacked by a ranged attack, he'll activate his shield cover.
What?
Don't know why Morgan was so bitchy there. But yeah, so now I'm gonna go up and get my treasure. After fast forwarding through all the newbie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Splint mail boots.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Starting to look like a proper adventuring party. A heavy armored guy, a medium armored guy, a light armored person. This is where I start explaining the friendship system and the romance system, where, you know, hey, they're all neutral to me. They're, you know, they don't really have a positive or negative against me. Your choices affect them somewhat, but mainly you can basically buy their affection with gifts. I'm like, you know, I'm going to take this thing off, clear that. I don't want, clear all this stuff off. I don't want myself to do any of that stuff. Let's do enemies. I want to say clustered together. Clustered with at least 2 allies. I'm going to do my sweep. Dual weapon sweep. I think it's like if an enemy's like elite or higher, then I'm going to try to riposte. Yep. And then if enemy... what is it? Enemy's health is equal to or less than 90%, then I will use ability flurry. So it's just setting it up so that if I'm not using him, he's going to be acting appropriately instead of just, you know, trying to do the tank thing. Then I'm like, alright, hey, there's a cave full of spiders over here, we gotta deal with them. I believe I start luring these things away one at a time as much as I can, and start explaining that you can do that with some things. Liliana sounds exasperated that I'm telling her to do something. Okay, combat starts. I have it set up so that I can start combat. And now I have 1 spider, or 2 spiders coming to me.
Now it's better to
Taunted. See, most of the encounter is still over there. I'm doing part of it. That is something you can do in this game in particular. If there are enemies that are grouped together or look like they're grouped together, you can kind of start picking the group apart a little bit if you inch your way forward. Liliana being more bitchy towards me. While I tell her to shoot and lure away another group.
What is your command?
And then I'm like, hey, my party's just gonna go ahead and go, so let's do it. Flurry. Hate spiders. Even though Morgan can turn into a spider.
I'm done with that one.
I'm like, hey, there's only 2 left. Let's go after them. No, don't web me. Ah! Alistair taunted. Making the fight go a lot smoother. Taking the majority of the damage. He's set up to take the majority of the damage. Doesn't mean he's invincible right now, but he is wearing heavy armor. He can take this. Yeah. This is where you would get the toxin extracts for the guy who wants poison, in case you didn't already have them before getting here. So I'm like, alright, hey, cool. So I'm going to go loot this stuff. I'm going to grab a few more things. I think I missed a couple of elf roots. And then I believe I run into the group of guys who want the bounty on my head. I'm like, as long as I don't go up on the bridge, it should be fine. So I'll go ahead and get these elf roots. Yeah, I just don't want to trigger the event. Yeah, I think better of it. Better safe than sorry. Don't want to trigger the event and not be able to come back to town. Which I believe you can, as long as you just don't leave the map, you can do whatever you want, but I didn't want to risk it.
We done heard what was said. You're a warden. I don't know if you killed Kincaid, and make her forgive me. I don't care. But I don't know if you killed Kincaid could feed a lot of hungry bellies. I don't care. Attack! But that bounty on your head could feed a lot of hungry bellies. Attack! So
it's just a bunch of villagers, refugees. Most of them aren't even wearing armor. I'm like, okay, you guys are idiots, whatever. I'm laughing at the position that guy's in. For some reason, he decided to, like, freak out and not render properly or something. I don't know why. Just gonna have Alistair start off with a taunt. And then, yeah, I'm going to have her go ahead and Mind Blast. Just to kind of get everything started. So, hey, there's more behind me, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, alright, so here we go. Let's do this.
Let's make this.
None of these guys really do a significant amount of damage, so I don't think I have to heal them. Chop that dude's head off. Alistair keeps taunting. I mean, all of them wailing on him, like, they start dealing okay amounts of damage. Yeah, they're surrounding him, and that's why. So I think I have him, yeah, he takes like 1 health poultice. Actually, I think I'm contemplating not even having him take one. Because, yeah, he's taking damage, but it's not so fast that it's not manageable. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that guy out. He's not gonna be backstabbing him. Because see, all the guys that are attacking him from the front, they end up dealing less damage because they're attacking him from the front. I mean, they almost got him done. It only took, like, what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Took like 10 of them. Okay, so then this is where I explain specializations. Because I unlocked specializations. Normally on your first playthrough, you do not have these unlocked. So you don't have access to them right away, but this is far from my first playthrough. So that I have everything unlocked already. I explain, like, champion, you just get it at a certain point when somebody calls you a champion. Templar, you have to be friends with Alistair. Berserker, you have to be friends with Oghren. In Reaver, you have to do the evil thing later on in the story. I will point it out when the choice is available. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that might be watching for the first time. That'd be kind of a douche move. Champion, I'm explaining that champions are about, like, controlling the battlefield, buffing their allies and debuffing their enemies. Berserkers are literally just, well, they're berserkers. They fly into a rage and start dealing more damage. I believe their health regeneration is nerfed and their stamina regeneration is buffed. But other than that, like, yeah, it's a berserk thing. It's, you know, you're throwing caution to the wind and going all out on the fight. Reavers, they use basically like a form of blood magic to heal themselves and to terrify their enemies during the fight. Yeah, it's a thing. You don't want to do that if you want to be a good person, but if you already have it unlocked, you can play a good character that is a Reaver because you didn't have to do the thing to unlock it. I believe I go champion here, just because I want Warcry, which is a debuff to all enemies attack around me, which is just a great thing. It makes it so that Alistair will be more survivable. If I find myself surrounded by enemies, I will be more survivable. Yeah, Templars are basically anti-mage warriors. Their attacks drain mana. They can dispel magics. They have higher mental resistances to spells, and they get buffed a little bit of magic, so they're just more resistant to even damaging spells in general, or at least that's what they're supposed to be. Yeah, go with strength and con here because, yeah, I've been getting kind of wrecked lately. And yeah, I want to say, yeah, that gives me, so you get a little bit of stats just for picking the specialization. Alistair's a Templar. This is where I'm explaining, hey, you gotta just befriend Alistair to be a Templar, but I already have it unlocked, so I can just do it. Yeah, willpower and cunning for being a champion, but I'm gonna get a cool special ability. I believe it's Warcry, and I want that, so goes next, and then yep, champion tree unlocks. Warcry debuffs, the base version of it debuffs all the enemies attack around me, so they don't hit as often. If they don't pass the I want to say a mental resistance check. If with superiority, they'll have to pass a physical check, and if they don't pass the physical check, they get knocked down from Warcry. So it's like an AoE stun. Rally is the second thing in there. Yeah, I go with Warcry. Rally is the second thing in there. I have an aura which buffs attack and defense of my party members. With superiority, I believe it increases like stamina regeneration and stuff too. Like, hey, there's a chest. Go ahead and unlock it.
Yes.
Love having a rogue in the party. I'm like, hey, is that the best bow she can have? Oh, sorry. Is that the best bow she can have? I'm not sure. So I'm just now comparing the ones that I have, and I totally don't know what point I was trying to make there. I'm like, I can't go into the town from there? Okay, well, let me go turn in my quests. I believe I also talk about Sten and the Canary and how they look different from the first game. They made them... In the first game, they're just basically just big guys. They're considered giants by the local populace. But then in the second game and the third game, they actually made them quote-unquote oxmen. They have horns, gray skin, and they look like, you know, they're part ox, part man, which is why everybody starts calling them oxmen. Don't know if they wanted to do that in the first one, and if they had like creative license or whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna turn this in. Talk to the chanter. I believe this is where I explain that he is.
Path of righteousness is full of
He
hardship.
only speaks in
Maker
the chant of
smiles
light.
upon its travelers. Path of righteousness is full of
So that's why
hardship.
he
The
just.
Maker smiles
It
upon its
looks like
travelers.
he's speaking verse. So yeah, that's why that's going on. And then, hey, I'm doing a bear's attack, getting some other stuff. And then, yeah, picking up some other things. Okay. And that right here, I'm going to take a break at... Okay. Recording again. Alright, so back to the me trying to talk my way through this point where I forgot to do my microphone. So now I'm going back out after I picked up the other quests. I believe I have to kill bears and I gotta get a memento. Gotta kill wildlife. Yeah. There's the memento. The woman that earlier when I tried to talk the kid out of going to find his mother, and well, that's where she ended up. She actually got pretty close to the village, but they ended up dying, so, sucks to be them. Hey, I'm gonna get it near me, war cry, penalty to attack. Hey, I feel like I'm doing massive damage. They're not doing a lot of damage because most of their attacks are missing. This is pretty loud. I'm definitely going to be turning down this particular pretty damn loud. Yeah, that was quick. It was a large group of wolves like that would have really messed me up earlier in the game, but you know, hell, just a little bit of leveling and everything's fine. So yeah, going through, starting to explain what I'm going to try to do with Alistair, and then I'm explaining, you know, because he's leveling up, hey, this is what Templars do. Their strikes drain mana, and they do other things, but I'm basically going to make him my tank, so I want to give him shield defense and make him use that all the time so that he starts taking even less damage from the front, being a tank. Yeah, so he's going to start using that. I'm going to put that on his bar, get rid of shield cover, because, I mean, it's no big deal if he gets hit by a couple of arrows. But yeah, so basically just all the time, no matter what, he's going to have shield defense on. So it's like, hey, this is what he's doing. So boom, he's going to drop down into the stance. He's going to deal less damage, but he's going to take a lot less damage. So it's a good thing for him to have that stance. You know, with all the taunt and everything, and the defensive stance now, like, he's going to be a much better tank. Especially since most of the time I'm going to be planning things so that he only gets attacked from the front. So let's go over there and get the memento from the lady. Poor woman. Gonna get her keepsake as what the Chantry board wanted me to do. And now I gotta go find a group of bears, which I believe is just over this hill to the right. Yeah, they're like down there. There they are. I see them now! That's a group of bears, oh no!
Can I get you a ladder?
Pretty easy strategy, pretty easy quest. Not a lot to yeah, just checking in to make sure that I don't have to go hunt down multiple groups. I believe pretty soon I'm going to be, hey, like my mic wasn't on, I'm a dumbass. Let's see exactly how long it takes for me to notice that I don't have my mic on. I believe it was before I left Lothering, I think. And I'm about to get to that point. Turn this question in. Get some money and some XP.
Blessed are the peacekeepers. Blessed champions of the just. Champions of the just.
Talk about how that's
the stars
why
stood
he's
still.
talking
The
like that,
winds,
because
animals,
he's talking in the chant
all
of
animals
light.
of earth and air held their breath. All was silent in prayer. All was silent in prayer and thanks.
So that's 3 quests that I turned in. I got 50 silver, got some items out of it. Yeah, any item that's like highlighted in that like gold outline is stuff that you got. So I got Oathkeeper right there. It's a good tanking weapon, so I'm gonna give that to Alistair because it like increases health received from healing and it gives him like armor penetration. So he's gonna be dealing more damage. But also he's going to be getting increased healing received, which is a good thing for a tank to have. I keep itching my nose because it's allergy season at this point in time. It's not quite summer yet, so the pollen hasn't burned off, and I keep scratching my nose and sneezing and coughing. So apologies for that. I also I think I'm talking about that ruin slot and how later on you're going to be able to put a slot in there like a gym. Later on, they do armor runes. Yeah, and I'm comparing like the stats on it, like the speed and all that. So you know, hey, it's Oathkeeper. It's a good thing for him to have. No armor is better than what he's got on right now. No weapons better than what I just gave him. So yeah, gonna go ahead and just let that be. Check the challenge board again for another series of quests. None available. So I am finally at the point now where I'm about to leave because none of that stuff is in Lothering, and the one guy that I had to give the letter to in Lothering I already gave it to him. All this other stuff is for the Blight, Kakari Wilds, Last Will and Testament, that's in Redcliffe, and the premium content is for the Golem. So yeah, I'm just double checking, making sure I got everything done, and I'm pretty sure I got everything done. So now's the time for me to leave Lothering. I think I checked on this just to make sure there's nothing good that he sells that I can
suppose you're looking to buy something. All right. Just don't buy everything up. Just don't buy everything up.
I think I'm also doing a little bit of inventory management here because, you know, you only have so much inventory space. Like, hey, health poultices, definitely want to buy those up. Injury kits, want to buy those up. Don't really want to buy any of his other stuff. I'm talking about like the quality of weapons and the metal that they're made out of affects the stats. So the Dwarven War Axe has a rune slot on it. It's made of iridium. My family sword was made of gray iron. Gray iron's only tier 2 metal. Iridium's tier 3 metal, I believe. Yeah, so steel. It's like iron, gray iron, steel, Viridium. Yeah, so Viridium's tier 4. You know, different swords, different things. Same with what it's made out of, and like the shields and stuff will increase the stats or decrease other things. The helmet, I believe I buy that helmet. Yeah, chainmail, Viridium, chainmail, gray iron. I believe I buy something off this guy. I remember. Like sell some other crap because I don't need it. Splint mailed. I'm holding on to that for Sten because I haven't equipped him yet, and I'm about to go to camp, so he's gonna need equipment. Splint mail boots, steel. Splint mail boots, gray iron. So it's just a difference. Yeah, iron. sell the iron ring. It doesn't do anything. It's just there for selling. I'm checking his recipes, making sure that he doesn't have anything that I need. And yeah, I kind of like, he doesn't really have much that I want, so let's go ahead and get out of here. Because once you leave Lothering, you can't come back here. This place is just, it's not accessible anymore. It gets destroyed by the Darkspawn. So you just, if you leave without finishing something or without getting something, it's gone forever. So you want to make sure that you get everything that you need out of it. Now, I believe I go through the encounter up here, and I start talking to Bowden, and that's when I realize that my mic is off. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go do the encounter, so I might as well get this elf root over here. Let's go ahead and go get that.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
All right, all right. Then I'm like, all right, let's do the encounter. All right, he's talking to the Darkspawn guys up there, and now I'm gonna go fight the Darkspawn. Away with you, foul creatures! Oh no, Darkspawn. Oh, this is where I realized I turned my, yeah, okay, right here. And I just realized that I've been talking the whole time for the past almost hour, and my mic was muted. Wow.
Leave us alone.
Go me.
You should run while you can.
Alright.
Mighty timely arrival there, my friend. I'm much obliged.
You're welcome.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Samuel. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Road's been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way.
I doubt you want to travel with a Grey Warden.
Grey Wardens? My, that does rather explain a lot. No offense, but I suspect there's more excitement on your path than my boy and I can handle. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune.
Goodbye.
Now then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we?
It's funny that they say that.
So you can get off my back.
It's funny that they say that, but they end up like being in your camp anyway. And then yeah, Blood Mage, Sealed Letter, Maleficarum, Regrets. I won't go back, let them hunt and dread finding me, but you, Melis, should not live this life. It would please me if you found a life in the Circle Tower. I left a few things there, mostly stolen from the enchanters. Sell them to fund a new path. The cache is in the study area, middle alcove. Goodbye, Belgrus. So now I know about a little hidden cache in the Circle of Magi. Gather my party and venture forth.
Bad dreams, huh?
It seems so real.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight.
The archdemon is that the dragon? Why didn't Duncan just tell everyone that? Are these dreams going to happen a lot? The archdemon, is that the dragon?
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too.
I'm not frightened. Any other surprises I should know about? You could have told me earlier. Thank you, Alistair. I appreciate it. Any other surprises I should know about?
Other than dying young and the whole defeat the blight alone thing? No. I'm all tapped out for surprises. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Enchantment. Soldier's Peak. The King's Confidant. Okay, so here's the camp. This is what the camp's always going to look like no matter what. Apparently that's my sleeping spot. I'm not really sure what it's all about. Why I have like I guess that's a rock I'm sleeping on, and is that like a map? Not really sure. Kind of want to turn on medium texture details. Yeah, see, that's a map. And then, you know, you got your tents over here, I guess. There's going to be other party members later on. And then, you know, you got Sten, and there's the guy for Soldier's Peak, Levi Dryden. And then, hey, Bodon and Sandal. And then, of course, Morgan's over there all on her own.
It's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Fennick, at your service once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Ward? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
You're free to stay, just mind yourselves.
Wonderful. Thank the gentleman, won't you, boy?
Thank you, sir.
We won't be a bother to you and your companions, I assure you. If you should need enchantments, simply talk to my boy. Otherwise, come speak with me.
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
Let's see what other goods you have.
Oh, certainly. I could do that for you. Just come with me.
And now you have Bodon's shop. So, yeah, you have a shop in your own place, which is good to have. I'm just going to buy up all his poultices and stuff. Injury kits. He also has an infinite number of concentrator, distillation, corruptor agents, and flasks. So, like, you have a lot of base stuff here to craft. The Shale Dragonbone. See, it's a tier 7 Dragonbone. And then Sylvan's Mercy. He's got the rest of the Blood Dragon stuff that you can buy from him. Earthheart's Portable Bulwark. He has some good stuff. Silverhammer's Tackmasters, +2 to Dexterity. Peel Weavers. Angled Strikers. See, +5 critical and backstab damage. Spirit Hands, Proving Helm, Conspirator's Foil. Dalish Hunting Belt. Which is actually pretty good to have. I think I'm going to just go ahead and buy that one right now. Merchant's Belt, increased monetary gain. Longbowman's thing, yeah. Hailstone, +5% cold damage. It's good for Morgan. Yeah, then he has some runes that you can put on your stuff. He also has some gifts. He has Ooh. Excuse me. That came out of nowhere. Okay, so he has a good gift and a bad gift for each of your possible companions. There is, so you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 different people that you can get in your party. 2 of them won't mesh. But of course you only can get 1 of them towards the end, which you get some, it's something. So if you're having a hard time actually like connecting with a person and you don't like that, like you're getting a negative review with them, you could always just give them one of the good gifts and they get like plus 50 plus 50 for you. If you want to go the opposite way, you could do, you can give them one of the bad ones and they get minus 50 with you. And then if there's just, thoughtful gift, like if you just want to do without doing a specialized one, he's got 50 sugar cakes and thoughtful gifts, which gives people plus, and then lump of charcoal and rotten onions, which gives people negative. And there is a story reason, like, all these people, they love their gifts because of reasons, and then they hate their other gifts because of reasons. It's pretty fun. But then in camp, you can go through everybody that you have in camp, and you can equip them. Sten, I'm going to go ahead and give him the splint mail stuff, because, well, he's a warrior. He needs some armor. And then he... I can give him the chase at flat blade. Yeah, because he's a two-handed warrior. He runs in with a two-hander. That's his thing. Then I'm gonna give myself the Dalish hunting belt. I'm gonna give Alistair the Dwarven merchant's belt. I'll give her the hailstone, and I'll give Liliana the longbowman's belt. So in camp at all times is going to be Bodon, Sandal, Sten, my dog, and this guy, Levi Dryden. You don't need to talk to him right now. But this is also where you do all your narrative stuff, like you talk to people. Like, so if you want to do the romance system, if you want to talk to people and get to know like their peoples better, ask certain questions, then this is where you go to do that. So I'm gonna talk to Morgan, because I like Morgan. She's cool.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Did you grow up in the Kakari Wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
You can probe me anytime. I'm curious. What's wrong with that? Fine, I'll leave you be. It's my favorite way of annoying you. You can probe me anytime.
Beg pardon then while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
And you remained unnoticed?
For the most part. Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring, that sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
That was quick thinking. I'm supposed to be surprised you're a good liar. That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
It's not human society. You're in Ferelden. Touching like a handshake. Why you're all upset? Why all the bad touching? Touching like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Yeah, here you are.
Yes, here I am. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
See, +6, just from having a conversation.
Yes?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
Glad you think so. You're cute when you're evasive. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Just answer or don't. I'm glad you think so.
And I am glad you are so glad.
Cringe.
My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
You really had no trouble with them.
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Surely more would have followed.
Sometimes. Eventually. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Do you still think it was fun?
I think that my mother made it fun so that a child did not learn to fear. And I think that it was necessary. There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
Absolutely, there are worse things than death. There's a pathetic justification. You're probably right. I have no opinion on the matter. Well, I mean, if you don't survive, you can't do anything else. I do agree that there are fates worse than death, but... Yeah, you're probably right.
An enlightened view, or at least an agreeable one. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
another +3.
Yes?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Is Flemeth really what she seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
An old woman, a powerful Maleficar, a nutty old bat. Human?
Oh, she certainly was human. Once. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. I heard a little of it. I'm more interested in the truth. Spare me the bedtime stories. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Ah, I see. That does explain much. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
That sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful. A fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Just how long ago was this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conobar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conobar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conobar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
He sold his wife to another man?
The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conobar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
She spoke to spirits or demons?
Spirits first, and 'twas they who slew Conobar. Flemeth did not turn to the demon until much later. Lord Conobar's allies chased Flemeth, you see. Chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Which, that she never invaded, or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
Do you believe her version has that the Flemeth has survived for so long? The legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters. Aren't abominations usually insane horrors? An interesting story. Thank you. That all sounds like hogwash. How is it that Flemeth has survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
Do you believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
An interesting story, thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
My mother died recently. In fact, there's nothing really to say about her. I love her. What else do you want to know? Keep your curiosity to yourself. My mother died recently, in fact.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on.
+5.
Yes?
I'd like to ask
If
you
you
something.
must.
How did you become a shape-changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mother's been doing this for a long time then. That does sound like something you do, but it's just a legend, right? Your mother's been doing this for a long time then.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shape-changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities sound quite useful. It does seem a little revolting. Maybe tied to a flagpole tickled. That would just make you angry, I think, at the very least. I think your abilities sound quite useful.
Oh! You're simply full of surprises, little man.
I think it'd
aren't
be
you?
useful to turn
But
into
enough
an
of
animal.
such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
+6.
Yes?
Okay. So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
But you eventually left.
Such simple pleasures will only enthrall for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. It was encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
I can't imagine Flemeth was pleased.
She was not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
That you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
I feel sorry for you, but you don't need to live that way any longer. That they made you stronger, didn't they? Those are harsh lessons to teach a child. Harsh lessons to teach a child.
Perhaps, but they were necessary still. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
+1.
Yes?
I'd like to discuss something personal.
We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Kiss her.
What's this? 'Tis a rather odd discussion you seem to desire, leaning in so closely.
Humor me.
Oh, it's humor you desire. I didn't realize comedy had anything to do with this.
Only if we do it wrong.
How true. Let us do it right, then.
And that's pretty much how easy it is to get with Morgan. You just need to talk to her. Alright, so I've inspired her with a minor magic. There's also... That is also another reason just to talk to your party members. Get their approvals up, is because it will improve their stats. So she just improved magic, I believe, what? I think it's like +5 or something with the initial. +4. Where's like the actual... Yeah, okay. Inspired by your leadership, this party member has gained a minor bonus to magic. Doesn't say exactly how much, but she does have +4 to her magic right now. And I don't think she has anything that increases her magic that much. +1 magic. +2 magic. So, it's +1 magic right now. But it'll go up as things happen more. But yeah, so just because I did that, got her approval up to 26. And notice that it no longer says neutral. You can talk to Alistair, and you can get him his stuff up, you get his story and everything. Sten, you can talk to him about his things going on and everything. But I think that's enough for now. I'm gonna go... Oh, and then you could always just pet Gurn.
Oh, why, you little...
What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
Hardly any blood drawn, still he shouldn't have. It's just a warning. He could have taken your hand off. Good boy, teach that silly Alistair a lesson. Bad dog, that's not very nice. Well, he is a war dog. It's just a warning. He could have taken your hand off.
Don't you think I don't know it? Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me. I once heard a really old legend about how the hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Don't listen to Alistair, he's full of rubbish. If you had it and didn't know it, it probably was tasty. I never fed you another human being. Don't listen to Alistair, he's full of rubbish.
Hey!
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack.
Oh.
A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
He ruined them, does that mean you have to go without? It's the thought that counts, he means well. Can't be stinkier than what normally goes into them. I think he thinks you need more meat on your bones. Why doesn't he share his food with me? It's the thought that counts, he means well.
Dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
Don't do it again. You're a war dog, not a nursemaid. You heard the lady. It was a gift. You can't just throw it away like that. Don't do it again. You're a war dog, not a nursemaid. It's okay. I still love you, boy. Watch them.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Dig seriously in the ground at your feet. Trying to find your way through the earth, are we? It's going to take some time, you know. Well, good luck with that then. Oh man. Go ahead and pet him. Yeah. Pet the good doggo. Yeah. You deserve to stay in camp. You don't have to fight nothing.
I'll get on it.
Alrighty. So, this is, you go back to picking your party.
Yes.
Indeed.
Indeed.
You know, so right now I have 6 party members I can choose from. I have to have myself in party. Sten, of course, is a choice, and so is my dog. This be the world map. So this is where you can pick where you're heading. Yeah, I knew there was an E at the end of that. Ban Lawrence's Lands, Kellenhead, Soldiers Pass, Prospect Mountains. There is another DLC I don't seem to see. I'm gonna have to look into that. The Golem. For some reason, I don't see the ability to go straight to him, which I never go straight back for Shale anyway. But yeah. So I intend to go to Redcliffe first. So you go along, you might get an encounter, which I'm about to get an encounter right here. But I left Lothering. I no longer can go back to Lothering. It's going to be gone. All this is like the Darkspawn Horde coming up. Got a Herlock Alpha. Ooh, Emissary. I'm going to go after that. Alistair, you go after that. Hit that with that. And also hit that with a pinning shot. We do not want that spellcaster doing anything.
Push to go!
So you can get off my back.
Okay. How's he doing? He's doing okay. Let's go ahead and take care of... That one, the lightning bolts. And you know what? Run up and hit him with dirty fighting.
All right, all right.
There you go, stun him. Okay, Liliana, I want you to back up a little bit. Go ahead and hit yourself with a health poultice.
Let's make this quick.
Right, all right. All right. Let's go. Can I get you a ladder so you can get off my back?
Alright. Oh yeah, see there's little traps on the ground. If you have high enough cunning, you can see like you can see them and disarm them, but apparently I don't have high enough cunning to not notice them.
I'll get on it.
Oh yeah, see there's 3 trip traps right there. Okay. Hello, and thank you for watching my video. Remember to subscribe to my channel and like the video if you enjoy my content. It really helps me out. Also, if you want to catch my playthroughs live, you can check me out over at Twitch. Link in the description.